The question about how powerful the Mevo Multicam app can be answered, but it's answered along a timeline because every time a new update to the app comes out, it's getting more and more powerful. The most recent update we saw added some features that added to the experience of using multicam. An upcoming update is going to give us the 9-grid shot that we saw in the Mevo 2.0, now 2.5 app. An upcoming update is going to give us full control of audio within the Multicam app instead of having to rely on the previous Mevo 2.0, 2.5 app. I'm not telling you that's the next update for either one of those features. I don't have that kind of information, but as has been asked and answered many times on the Mevo guys live stream they do twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, yes, those app features are coming, and they'll be coming in an upcoming update. Recently, I was watching a video by Sarah Dietschy. Sarah is a very successful YouTuber. She does a kind of a tech review channel. Her grandparents live not far from my brother in Weatherford, Texas, and anytime I get to throw a little love towards a fellow Texan, I take that opportunity. But her video, Do You Really Need the New iPad 12.9? That's the title of the video. It contained a section in the 11 minute 30-second to 13-minute section of her video. It contained information about her Sony AS7 and the app that controls it. It contained a little bit of information about Blackmagic cameras and the app that controls them. And she was telling how powerful the iPad is in being able to control her cameras, her studio for content creation. And it struck me. I'm using the Mevo Multicam app with the Mevo Start or Plus camera, and I have many of the same features she's highlighting from that setup she uses on a much more expensive YouTuber budget, on a much more feature-rich, yes, for all those haters of the Mevo camera out there who might for some reason be watching a Mevo titled video, I need you to understand, I know this is not an apples to apples comparison. This is an apples to some other non-fruit food, maybe even non-food comparison, but we know the Mevo is not a Sony AS7, and we know it won't let you do aperture, it won't let you do optical zoom. Those features are not there, but the Mevo Start costs $375 on Amazon right now. The Sony AS7 that Sarah referred to in the video she produced costs $3,498 on Amazon right now. So it's not apples to apples in the features, but it's also not apples to apples in the cost. So for someone starting out and wanting the fullest feature-rich setup they can get for a reasonable price, I believe the Mevo Multicam app with a Mevo Start or Plus is going to be an incredible solution for folks. So let me show you some of the features that she highlights and where they exist in Mevo Multicam. In the Sony Imaging App, she says, here I can press record, and I don't have to keep getting up, walking around my desk. I can trigger it from my app. In the Mevo Multicam app, you have a record button right here on the front. In the Mevo settings, you have the option to power on or off with a USB cable. It's right here in the settings, and if you pair this feature with a smart plug and plug your Mevo charge cable into a smart plug, all of a sudden you have all the features you're looking for the convenience of turning on or off, of recording, of controlling the camera, just like this YouTuber is highlighting about the Sony A7S with its app. It's an incredibly feature-packed app that Mevo has released. Now, the video that I'm referring to is of a content creator, and she goes on to talk about controlling her Elgato lights. But then she brings up Blackmagic cameras and how you have the ability to control the image settings in the Blackmagic app. And I wanted to bring that up on the screen for you as well. I go into the image adjustments setting, and you can see that you have white balance, just like it shows there on the screen. You see for the Blackmagic app, you can see that there is white balance also in the Mevo Multicam app. It also, of course, has brightness and contrast, saturation, metering. It has an exposure metering setting for your digital zoom, but you also then have the option to change your camera mode from auto to manual, and that unlocks the ability to control your shutter speed and your ISO. HDR is a function of the Mevo software, and so it is also a piece of the puzzle that enhances your control of this camera, just like this YouTuber was talking about the enhanced control of these much more expensive cameras, much more expensive pieces of equipment. And then she mentions that the features are there to control multiple cameras. I think she calls it something like multicam. I don't know where she came up with such a ridiculous tag. But I do want us to understand that the switcher, the image adjustments, all the settings for Mevo Multicam are features that creators are looking for. And so to be able to have all of this in a tidy package paired with a Mevo camera that's not just a camera, but it's also an encoder. It allows you to, with your internet connection, go ahead and stream. This is an entire package, and it's a very powerful package. I do know that when we talk about how powerful something is, we're referring to it in comparison to something else. That's just the nature of the beast. When we talk about how powerful a lawnmower or a car or a locomotive is, we talk about horsepower. The reason we call that horsepower is because horsepower is the measure of how far a horse can pull a certain amount of weight 1 foot in 1 second. That's 1 horsepower. You compare something to something else to determine how powerful it is. So when we compare the software, when we compare the Mevo Multicam app with these other apps that go to these other much more expensive pieces of equipment, we can see that we're playing on the same field. Now, we may be playing a little bit different game, but we are in the same stadium at least. And so it's not an apples to apples comparison on the hardware, but on the software end, we have a very robust piece of software that the Mevo team has put together in the Mevo Multicam app.